yesterday was the biggest show we could potentially have, the biggest audience we could potentially have. Coming out of the blocks, firing at all cylinders. Boom, this about the Rams. Boom, this is about Aaron Donald. Boom, this is about that 3rd and 1 Samaje Perine. Boom, this is about the Bengals. This is about the refs. Boom, 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 boom. I'm hitting. I'm connecting. I've got takes. I've got takes for days. And then 6:20 rolls around. We do sound check. Okay, no problem there. A couple of sound bites about the Super Bowl. But then we have a guy outside of a supermarket, part of a news story, that's talking about eating wings. And that the wings, there's a shortage on wings. And so prices have gone up on wings. He has a very funny slogan saying you got to put away them hens. He's like, I would pay whatever it takes for wings. I'd call up local grocery stores to find my wings. Okay, good bit. And we could move on from there, Bogues, and get right back into the meat of the Super Bowl as everybody is tuned in. What's these guys' take on this game? And then, Bogues, something happens. And at the moment when Mraz says, wait, don't chicken wings grow back? Why is there a shortage? What are you thinking?
Well, again, I think it's worth pointing out that he had just abstained from a different chicken conversation because he didn't want to say another thing that would land him in Pete's dummy montage by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then he steps into this, and I don't know if I'm gullible. I don't know if I should learn my lesson right now. So my first thought, and not immediately he's an idiot, it's now I'm conditioned to go, how is he going to get this right somehow in the end, that this is 1/8 truthful? But yeah, I mean, there's still just this level of shock that why do these things exist in his head?
There are moments when Mraz will say something, open up that brain of his, and he'll open up the top and we'll look at it and go, no way. There's no way. And sometimes I get mad at it because I will connect it to ignorance / laziness / inefficiency and get upset like, this is who I've entrusted with this radio show to produce. And then sometimes I'll just sit back and be like, you know what? Let me just let this wash over me. Why fight it anymore? Why fight it? Because it's not going to change. I haven't 9 years. Whatever is set in is set in. I'm not moving Mraz off that spot. And so yesterday was one of those, you know what? I'm just going to let's just see where this goes. And I'm like, you know what? Tell us the theory here. What exactly, how does this work in that inflatable tube that's inside your skull? How does this work? Here's the clip yesterday. Now, we will revisit this not because it's so shocking, but because this clip itself went viral yesterday on multiple media outlets across cyberspace. This clip created like 15,000 stories in cyberspace.
You mean to tell me in the middle of this wing shortage we can't clip a couple rooster wings off?
Well, you'd have to kill the entire rooster.
No, don't you clip one?
Do you think they grow back?
I'm not trying to make a stupid animal
I'd
joke.
like you to,
Are you sure? I was under the impression that when we make the wings, the reason we have so many is we cut one wing off and it does grow back.
That's what you were thinking with. And so it's kind of like a lobster claw or a crab claw, rather.
I'm really not trying to pull you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So you thought that they just clip them off with scissors? They would clip off the wing and it would
Well, I'm sure they have like wing cluckers or something, whatever they're called.
Cluckers.
Yeah, whatever. Scissors that you cut, like your reptiles grow back stuff.
Yes.
Think about how many wings we have in the world and how many chickens. I thought the reason we do that is boom, one wing, give it a couple months, it's back, cluck it.
Uh-huh. If you simply Google chicken wings sports host today, first headline, Google News, CBS Sports Radio's Sean Mraz has wing shortage solved. Newsbreak.com. Radio host shocked to find out chickens don't grow back wings. Indy 100. Radio host shocked to find out chickens cannot regenerate their wings. Yahoo.com in the UK. Radio host discovers live on air chickens don't regenerate wings. Yahoo in the UK wrote up a story about Mraz not knowing that wings don't grow back on chickens. Yahoo Life in the UK. I mean, to even suggest I can understand how life works, how going viral works, how you gain or garner traction or attention to your show, to your brand, to your network, would be a lie. Because I have tried every different type of puzzle piecing together that I could, AB, and nothing was as effective as Mraz thinking, and who could have figured that an adult would think that wings on a chicken could grow back after cutting them off with a pair of, quote, cluckers.
And I'll remind you that you scheduled our Valentine's Day bit for today because you couldn't do it yesterday on actual Valentine's Day since it was the day after the Super Bowl, and yet 20 minutes into the show, we were already off the rails because of this take and did multiple follow-ups on this take. And I don't know how many times I've heard it now between live, yesterday's fail, then showing it to my kids yesterday when I was home from work. So like little nuggets come out. My new favorite thing is where he goes, I was under the impression, which implies that he'd been steered to this thought, that it has been discussed. Like when you say I'm under the impression, it's because someone is giving you the impression that this is going on. So like, are there other people in his world that thought this too up until yesterday?
No. Please, Mraz, tell me you did not hear this from a family member, from a friend, from the Bayou Bear after 36 White Claws. Tell me this is just a figment of your imagination.
So I can't pinpoint this on anybody specifically telling me this. When I close my eyes and I have this image of what I'm talking about, I thought at some point I watched some kind of like news report on chicken wings, and I pictured a bunch of one-winged chickens running around a coop. Like I just had this
one
belief.
wing. They only snip one wing.
Yeah, and they keep the other wing. I don't know why. This is the image when I close my eyes I picture, and I feel like I watched this. So I don't know if I dreamt this because I think about chicken wings all the time. I find it insane to me. Insane. You documented 9 years. I get it. Admittedly, after I've said crazy things, I realize where I went wrong. And we had the discussion, and there's a year of buffoon documented on it. I did not think yesterday's chicken wing take was so outrageous that people were so stunned that it went viral. Like, that to me is the more stunning part.
Well, I'm glad you brought that part up because out of the 12,000 things you've said over 9 years that I've been like, I can't believe you think that. This was just one of the 12,000. This didn't stand out to me to be any more ridiculous than 17 other things you've said in the last year.
Exactly.
So why do you think, Bogues, that this one went viral? That of all the Mraz-isms, this was picked up by newspapers and outlets globally yesterday.
Yeah. And on a day where there was so many, it was not July 13th when nothing is happening and people were begging for content. There was plenty of content to go around yesterday.
Well, that's the other thing. Every show in America, you either had an athlete debate Matthew Stafford at the Hall of Fame and that went viral, or it was my wing take.
Why do you think, Bogues, piece this thing together? Why did this go viral?
Did the one right person, whether it's at the big lead or media eye, whatever it is, like did the right person find it and just open up the conduit to everybody else? Like, is one of them kind of like ground zero as a source? So once they pick it up, all of these other things just run with it? Like, is there one of them as the doorkeeper? Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, maybe because it's chicken wings right after the Super Bowl. I mean, it's there's a lot to power rank here, but it is a pretty absurd thought that we were taking off chicken wings, maybe only the right one apparently, and then they were growing back. I know he said some crazy things, but this is pretty crazy.
Well, it's shocking in its stupidity. There's no doubt about it. But again, there's been a million things Mraz has said that's shocking in stupidity. Mraz, what's your theory on why this one went viral?
Well, I think chicken wings are a very hot take item in the country right now. People love chicken wings. The chicken wing shortage and the price increases is something that is highly discussed, and even more highly discussed coming off everybody at Super Bowl parties. And I think because of that, because the interest in chicken wings may be more casually invested in by people than the outcome of the actual game, it blew people's mind that somebody could sit in a chair with a microphone and think we have the chicken wing shortage solved.
So I actually think had a random guy said this being interviewed outside of Piggly Wiggly, that would also go viral. That somebody would think that a wing would grow back on a chicken. It would just be like, can you believe this doofus? So I think it wasn't even about a radio host. It was just, can you believe somebody thought this? I think, Bogues, you started to walk around where I think the key was. I think the algorithms yesterday picked up chicken wing, that everybody was talking about chicken wings. Chicken wings, whether it was chicken wings recipe, chicken wings shortages, chicken wings prices, something. Because,
how many chicken wings were consumed?
Yes. Somebody Googled chicken wings, and one or two of these, as you said, Bogues, kind of like gatekeepers of what starts on the internet and then gets like aggregated a million places, had Mraz looking like an idiot, like a market blog, like an industry website. And then once, like, there were 17,000 searches about chicken wings, and suddenly Mraz started popping up on a million Google searches, then everything started grabbing it, and that this was a hot item, and that it was all over the place. Because, yes, it's so idiotic that it's so easy for an editor on a website to be like, oh, slap this up there. Can you believe this buffoon? And then everyone's like passing it along. Look at this buffoon. Look at this buffoon. Look at this buffoon. That it kind of like hit every box that you need to check on going viral. That it was a person being an idiot, there was a video accompanying it, and it was a search term that everybody was looking at that day.
Yeah, like when I had the Jacksonville debate, which has been famous, nobody's searching Jacksonville on that day to have that go bonkers unless you're in the DA show world.
I don't know if we had video of that, though. Did we have video?
I don't know. I don't remember. But the point is, there's been plenty of and I understand, I have to own them. There's plenty of these moments. This just, right place, right time. I do have to say the one thing that's going to bother me the most about this take, I clearly understand I was wrong. Clearly there's a saying running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, because they still do exist with their head cut off. So, like, I had some background and some basis for this, but there are people in the world that had the same thought as me. I'm not telling you the majority. And they will never come forward now because of how ridiculed I was on the internet.
No, you're not a hero. You're not a trendsetter. It doesn't matter if there's 9 other idiots. There's no positives here. Like, because here's how I'll explain it to you. I sat down with my kids yesterday. I said, you want to hear the new thing that Sean said at work today? Yeah, sure. And I hit play. They are 11 and 8. And they didn't need me to explain what was funny. The second you said that chicken wings are cut off and they regrow, they started laughing at you. And they're 11 and 8. And they did not need to know the context of what you, like, what am I missing? They knew right away how ridiculous that was.
Okay, now can I just, one more thing?
Sure.
Your kids are 11 and 8. And I don't know this because asking me what I remember when I was 11 and 8 at school, I barely remember what I learned in high school. Are they aware about, like, the iguana's tails growing back by now, or is, like, any animal regurgitation, like, crazy to them?
Regeneration.
Regeneration.
Regurgitating is puking.
Right, that's right. Regeneration.
Yeah.
Is that so foreign that it'd be funny at all, or do they have already learned the chicken theory?
Well, no, they know about other animals, I think mostly reptiles, that can regrow things like tails. They did actually question DA's point about lobster claws, but like in a intellectual, like, is that true? Can they do that? Like, so there are specific things that maybe they don't know or unsure of, but they knew immediately that we didn't just cut off a chicken wing and then it grew back for our next meal.
So some people tweeted at me, this is a bit, right? Like, he's not this stupid. And I just want this as a blanket. Yes, this is exactly how Mraz thinks. He's not putting it on, and I'm not asking him to put it on. In fact, it's a little embarrassing for me, to be quite honest. I mean, it's a little embarrassing that I went to journalism school and my show becomes most notable for sheer buffoonery. Now, look, some of this is I embrace the buffoonery. I have been a buffoon. I have been a clown. I'm not holier than thou or super serious about myself. So I embrace it all. I like this to be a circus. But it's a little bit depressing at times that, like, when you Google this show, the things that come up is like radio host or radio producer doesn't know that chicken wings don't grow back. And like that guy represents the show. But I also understand Mraz brings great value to the show because people wonder, is it a bit? Is he Andy Kaufman? Is he putting us on? And the bit is, no, this is not a put on. This is who Mraz is. And I would just also mention this. I think Nancy is an amazing mom. I think Mraz's family is amazing. And I know this to be a fact because both of his younger sisters are very smart and very successful. They got really good grades. They went to really good colleges. They have really good jobs. But last week, it was such a tell. And I love Nancy, but this is such a tell. On Friday, Mraz had this grand proclamation. Had I only been born to different parents in Canada, I'd be a top 10 hockey player ever. Then he is completely convinced, right? Remember this, Bogues? How could you forget this? If I was born in a different family in Canada, I'd not only have made the NHL, which outside shot, maybe I could believe if he would have said I would have played Division I hockey. I'd be like, you know what? I could see that. He said I'd be a top 10 hockey player ever to live. It'd be Gretzky or Hull, Ovechkin, Lemieux, Mraz. And
that's a pretty good list by you.
And at the end of the show, Nancy texted him and said, you know what? I'm sorry, Sean, you're right. And my heart just deflated a little because, yes, of course, it's a mother that wants to sympathize with her son, but it is such an example of coddling to the point of delusion so that Mraz's brain doesn't have to work very hard. He has been given the softest bounce house of a family forever. Like, yeah, you're allowed to have crazy delusions. And you know what? Not only are you right, I'm sorry I was wrong. And this twists Mraz's brain around so that when Mraz thinks that a chicken wing gets cut off by a pair of, quote, cluckers and then grows back, thus, why is there a chicken wing shortage? Wings just grow back. He has been surrounded by a social circle and a family that not only encourages that behavior, but apologizes that they don't think the same way. That's a great point, Sean. That's why don't? And if they don't grow back, why don't they grow back? Because you know what? Tails on lizards grow back, Sean. You're right, Sean. You're right. And that's been this life. And so I can't blame Mraz. I can't blame Mraz. He is a product of this environment. If I said on the air, don't chicken wings grow back? Don't they just get cut off by a pair of cluckers and don't they grow back? My parents would be mortified. They'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, don't even admit that you're an Amendolara. Do not even come back into the house. Are you that stupid? Like, my whole social circle would mock me relentlessly. My friends, my family, like, are you a joke? Like, what is that? And Mraz's people say, you know what? You're right. Why doesn't that happen? You're right. That's a good point. You're right. That logic is sturdy.
I can't say they've done
It's
that
the
with this
chicken's
take,
fault.
but yes.
But in general.
In general.
And so there is this completely baseless confidence that Mraz lives his life through. And, by the way, Bogues, yesterday only reaffirms it. Mraz can study Giants film, try to have the best take on the Gee Whiz podcast, try to break down the Super Bowl, but what the hell goes viral? Don't you just cut off a pair of wings with a pair of cluckers and they grow back? Wagga wagga. Boom. Yahoo Sports. And you everywhere globally. Search his name, Google his name. It's everywhere. It's only reaffirming Mraz's clownishness is his greatest trait. And it's absolutely a strength for this show in some weird, distorted, funhouse way. That I can't be embarrassed because, yes, he represents the show, and it's so stupid. It is just so stupid. But if we don't take ourselves seriously, and that ultimately, what does it matter about credibility, knowledge, intelligence, respect? If that doesn't really matter, then you know what? All we're here to do is be clowns. And so Mraz is the lead clown here, and we might as well just embrace it. Yesterday was a huge win for the show because globally, people said, look at those clowns.
I can't tell whether you hate me or embrace it or like me after that. I think you make a lot of valid points.
It goes back and forth.
I want to apologize to the
swings
show.
dramatically,
Yeah,
yes.
I do want to apologize for the show being looked at that way, but I guess, it is that we're looked at. And it should mark back-to-back weeks after the Super Bowl. We've gone viral, at least I did, because last year it was the football take with Brady after winning the Super Bowl.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Back-to-back years, Mraz was included in Tom Brady's "Ha Ha, I Did It, You Haters" hype video, and this year went viral globally for not knowing that chicken wings don't grow back.
So, like, is Purdue going to put out some kind of video that you're going to be in now, too? How's that going to work? How are you going to benefit from this as well?
I don't.
Some angry Purdue chicken Farmers Association video that you're going to be in the middle of?
I do just want to admit I was wrong.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm just glad you came to that conclusion.
There's no defending it, no family to defend it. I was wrong.
You were under the wrong impression.
Bad boy. Let me tell you, I was wrong.
I just want it on record. That time as an adult, I thought that wings grew back on chickens. I just want this on record, everybody. I'm admitting I was wrong. Oh, well. Imagine living in a world where you have to proclaim that you even accept that you were wrong.
I've had bad takes where you guys have crushed me, and I've rationalized and argued with you guys about how I got there. I'm not doing that this time. I'm just saying I don't know where I got to my mind. I was wrong.
How could you? How could you rationalize this one? What would be the rationale?
He certainly could, DA.
What's the rationale?
People in England are laughing at me. I was wrong. They know.
It's been 20 hours. You know he was workshopping stories last night to defend himself, and he's sprinkling a couple today. There are others who weren't brave enough to say this. I thought I saw a TV show about this.
That was the last stand.
Custer's last stand. I was the only one brave enough to say this.
So this is
That part
Custer's
is
last
true.
stand.
There were people that thought it for sure.
Man, that was great.
I'll give Mraz this. He is a free thinker. Whether he thinks himself into a pit of despair or wherever else.
The Kyrie Irving of the radio game, Mraz. Hey, you know what? We zig, he zags. Why don't we have chickens that grow back their wings? Purdue, have you thought of that one? You brilliant chicken minds.
We will have genetically modified chickens to grow back wings in 10 years. Mraz will have the last laugh. I guarantee it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So, forevermore, breakdown of Super Bowl 56 here on the DA Show, defined by the day Mraz thought Chicken wings grew back like lizard tails.
Chicken?